So what's up, y'all? Y'all already know we gotta react to it. They calling Ben Whittaker a fraud after his last match, which ended in a draw, cause he got injured or whatever. I don't know. I feel like Ben Whittaker wasn't ready for that fight. I ain't watched the thing yet, but I seen like people like recordings or whatever you want to call it. Um, I don't know if dude just pressured Ben Whittaker too much or what really happened, but Ben Whittaker did look off his game a little bit because dude, like Ben Whittaker's like, I don't know, like he real technical. Like if y'all watch his fights, he's real technical, slick, and he didn't show any of that up in his last fight. So I'll get into
Imagine you do this first. And then this happens to you.
Finding the shot again, and he's upping the tempo.
He has a flow and a rhythm to his work when he's showboating.
He's getting hit by a much slower fighter. Whoa. And wait a minute.
This is much talked about Ben Whittaker. The internet is flooded with viral videos showcasing his flashy fighting style and antics in the ring, racking up millions of views. However, in his latest fight, something happened that will go down as one of the most humiliating fraud checks in boxing history. Ben was beaten,
Bro, how is it even a fraud check? Dog, hold up, y'all, hold up. All right, y'all, we back. I had to pause, make sure I ain't mess up nothing. I accidentally typed C on my keyboard, but bro, how is it even a fraud check, dog? He probably just had an off night. Everyone has an off night, bro. And then for two, it ended in a draw. They both fell over the rope, bro. It's not like Ben Whittaker got knocked down. It's not like he got like uppercutted where he just fell over the ropes or anything like that, bro. They both fell over the rope.
Humiliated and thrown out of the ring. To truly grasp the scale of this tragedy, let's start from the beginning and understand the context behind this young star's downfall. Ben's love for boxing was instilled by his father, who also competed as an amateur until he got injured. His father, a working-class man, worked 2 jobs to support the family. He introduced Ben to his own coach, Joby Clayton, who was also Ben's godfather. Since they were poor and couldn't afford the gym membership, Joby allowed young Ben to train at a discounted rate. Joby also trained Anthony Joshua when he was an amateur. Ben quickly started to show results, but soon it was time to choose one sport to focus on. When he turned 15, his father sat him down and said, "Listen, you'll have to choose between football and boxing." So, Ben gave his all to boxing. In 2019, Ben qualified for the World Championship held in Yekaterinburg, where he won a bronze medal. In 2020, at the European qualifying tournament, he earned a spot on Team Great Britain and represented the UK at the Tokyo Olympics, which were postponed to 2021 due to COVID restrictions. In the quarterfinals, Ben easily defeated Brazil's Kino Machado.
I feel like Ben needs maybe another year or two, and I'd like to see him and Canelo fight. That'd be a good fight.
And in the semifinals, he outpointed the experienced Russian Imam Katayev. However, in a very close final, he lost by decision to Cuban Arlen Lopez. Whittaker stirred controversy by refusing to wear his silver medal at the ceremony, claiming that he felt he lost the gold and viewed the silver as a failure. He later apologized, saying, "I did it for all my compatriots and felt like a failure. I should have put that beautiful silver medal around my neck and smiled because it wasn't just for me, it was for the country." In the heat of the moment, he promised to return for another Olympic run for gold.
I take that back. Bro, I didn't even know Ben Whittaker was light heavyweight. I thought Ben was like middleweight. I thought he was middleweight, but he's light heavyweight. But
after cooling off and consulting with
yeah, I looked dumb there for a second. We all make mistakes.
his family and team, he decided to turn professional. Whittaker made his professional debut on July 30th, 2022 in Bournemouth, UK. He prepared for his first fight under Sugar Hill Steward at the Kronk Gym, the legendary Detroit boxing gym founded by Emanuel Steward. Here, it's important to explain something crucial about professional boxing and its peculiar internal structure, which has existed for hundreds of years. There are boxing stars, regular boxers, and, at the very bottom, journeymen. This is the ecosystem of professional boxing, where everyone plays a role and helps one another. A boxing superstar doesn't just feed themselves. They also support promoters and the regular boxers they fight against or who perform on the undercard of their fights. But to even reach the level of a regular boxer, one needs experience, which journeymen provide. These are the fighters who help rising prospects look good and gain valuable experience. Journeymen enter the ring for the paycheck, not to win, and there's no need for bribery. Everyone understands that journeymen have lower skill levels, but they need the money from their performances. So they accept fights where the odds are heavily stacked against them. This structure has existed for many years, and everyone understands and accepts their role, because without one, the others wouldn't exist. That's why even showmen like Roy Jones Jr. would never mock journeymen. Everyone already knows Roy is going to win. His job was simply to get used to the atmosphere of professional boxing with their help. Jones reserved his showboating for serious opponents, like former champion James Toney. Mocking someone of Toney's caliber highlights Roy's boxing prowess rather than humiliates his opponent. To behave that way against James Toney, you need to possess extraordinary skills. However, based on what you will see later, it seems that Ben Whittaker either doesn't know about boxing etiquette or blatantly ignores it for his own benefit. His opponent in
Bro, they hating so hard, dog. Oh my gosh, bro.
Debut fight was Greg O'Neill, who had a record of 6 wins and 6 losses. Ben stood 11 centimeters taller than his opponent, with both his height and reach measuring 191 centimeters. As expected, he took a wide stance and peppered O'Neill with his lead hand. At one point, ducking under an attack, he lifted Greg as if he were a bride, which visibly irritated O'Neill. Benjamin then started his show, entertaining the crowd with flashy uppercuts and body shots that visibly took their toll on Greg. Using this advantage, Ben began to clown around, playing to the audience. He added hard uppercuts and brutal body shots, leaving Greg visibly struggling. The first combination of the second round was enough to knock O'Neill down. A right cross landed flush on his head, sending O'Neill to the canvas. Less than a month later, despite injuring his shoulder during training, Whittaker agreed to fight on the undercard of Usyk Joshua rematch in Saudi Arabia.
Bro, turn off this dang. This automated voice, whatever you want to call it, bro, turn that off.
In the 6th-round fight, his opponent was Croatian Petar Nosic, whom Ben had previously beaten by TKO 7 years earlier in an amateur tournament. Nosic entered the fight with 6 wins in 6 bouts, having built his record on less challenging opponents. Injured, Ben didn't take any risks and stayed at a distance, picking apart the shorter Croatian, who seemed out of his depth in the weight class. The fight went the distance, and Ben won by unanimous decision. After nearly a year-long break to recover from his injury, Ben delighted his fans again on May 6, 2023, when he faced fellow Brit Jordan Grant. Interestingly, 2 years earlier, Grant had fought Tommy Fury and lost.
Yeah, y'all, Ben Whittaker is going to be the next generation's, or this generation's Prince Nassim. To some of y'all, what I'm saying is going to be a little bit too far-fetched, and the song, it'll make sense.
Whittaker entered the ring
it's just
in
how it
leopard
goes up
print
in there,
robes
shows
and
off,
shorts,
bro.
paying homage to Nassim Hamed, with whom he is frequently compared. Moving with the great...
He said the same thing. Because, bro, you can just see it, bro. Like, Prince Nassim, he went up in there, you know, he just focused on landing shots, putting on the show, showboat. I mean,
Face of a cat, he immediately targeted Jordan,
Ben Whittaker does
tormenting
the
him
same
with
thing.
jabs and vicious body shots, all while entertaining the crowd. The British star continued his relentless attack, battering Grant, who could barely survive as Ben bombarded him from all angles. A two-punch combination sent Jordan sprawling on the canvas, and the referee began to count. Though the fight could have been stopped, it wasn't, as that wasn't the reason Jordan was brought in. Early in the third round, Ben landed a check hook that left Grant reeling, forcing his corner to make the right call and throw in the towel. Next fight took place at the Manchester Arena on July 1st, 2023. Ben's opponent was the Slovak gatekeeper Vladimir Belinsky, with 13 wins and 6 losses. The most experienced opponent.
It'd be people that don't really pay attention to boxing and that really ain't ever trained. Like, I mean, like, really trained. It'd be those type of people that be having the most to say. Oh, this faster. I mean, I said this faster. Oh, this fighter, he's too slow. This fighter, he cherry picks. But a lot of these people that be having the most to say ain't never been hit.
Opponent in the Britain's career to that
And they don't
point.
really pay attention
The fight
to boxing.
was
They pay
scheduled for
attention to
8
the big
rounds.
stars.
Ben came out aggressively, pressuring Vladimir with sharp, focus punches. In the third round, Ben latched onto the Slovak, unleashing an artillery barrage of blows. With brute force and energy, he knocked him down with a powerful right hand. By the midway point, Vladimir was breathing heavily and slowing down. Ben took advantage of this, working on his defensive skills and testing specific strategies. He could afford to pick his moments, showcasing his potential while experimenting with his coach's game plan. In the 7th round, Ben's corner urged him to pick up the pace, and Vladimir turned into a human punching bag as Whittaker began landing long combinations. In the middle of the final 8th round, Ben hit Vladimir with a precise right to the jaw, causing him to stagger. After a finishing combination, the referee stepped in to save the Slovak from further punishment. On December 10th, 2023, Ben faced an Albanian-Italian descent named Stephen Lionheart Dreadhard. Stephen trained in Milan, had been a pro since 2018, and carried a record of 11 wins and 2 losses. Ben made a dramatic entrance, accompanied by a ballerina in a black balaclava, to the somber notes of a piano. The bell rang, and Ben swiftly connected with a sharp jab, immediately reading the timing of his Albanian-Italian opponent. He began to toy with him, all while delivering a beating. Boxing with his hands down, in the middle of the 2nd round, Ben ducked under a jab and landed a precise hook to the temple, living up to his nickname, The Surgeon. Seconds later, he followed up with a well-placed uppercut. The 2nd round ended with a few sharp exchanges and some testosterone-fueled posturing after the bell. An enraged Ben came out in the 3rd round to punish
Bro said some testosterone-fueled posturing.
Stephen for his audacity, unleashing heavy combinations. Stephen's lips and nose were bloodied, and after another counterattack, he took a knee. Ben eased off the pressure to show off for the cameras, which annoyed the ref.
And something else I wish that would go away up in boxing is having that O for so long, bro. Like, people let that O determine whether if their career is good, whether if they're a good fighter or not, bro. That does not matter in boxing. It does not. And I feel like it really shouldn't matter at all, dog. Like, even with MMA fans, like, you see some of these dudes, like, MMA guys, they have, like, 25 wins, 5 losses. 17 wins, 6 losses. Bro, that O does not matter, dog. It doesn't.
Referee, who repeatedly stopped the fight.
Look at Charles Oliveira, bro. He's been fighting for so long, and he didn't get the championship till, like, what, 22? Like, 2022, 2023? Somewhere around there. And he doesn't have a O. He just stayed on his purpose, on his mission. Max Holloway, he been fighting for a long time. Even though I am naming MMA fighters, I'm giving an example of like why the O shouldn't matter up in boxing. In boxing, I feel like as long as if the top guys fight each other, and if they, you know, I really want to see more of the top fighters fight each other more than O just being there. Who cares about that O? Everybody wants to see the top fighters fight, bro. No one cares about the O. As far as money Yeah, the O does matter, but I mean, to give like good fights to the fans, that O should not matter that much.
urging the fighters to stop showboating and get
But I
back to
get it
business.
though. I get it though. Like you do lose that O, you do lose a percentage of fans, the ones that aren't loyal. You do lose a few casuals watching you, and you might lose a little bit of money. Unless you're like Ryan Garcia or Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali, and you're just loved by a lot of people. And if you can put on a great show, people are gonna come back to watch you.
In the fourth round, Ben nearly decapitated Steven with a combination of an uppercut and a hook, but it missed by a few centimeters. In the fifth round, Ben landed a crushing body shot straight to Khalid's spleen, forcing him to retreat, followed by a rain of crosses and hooks on the staggering Frenchman. Khalid could no longer withstand the punishment and collapsed along the ropes, forcing the referee to stop the fight and spare him from further damage. We arrive at the sixth professional fight in the career of the British boxer. However, it was this fight that made him an internet star, generating highlight reels with millions of views. Within just 24 hours after the fight, it earned Whittaker more than 100,000 new followers on Instagram. London, Wembley Arena. The opponent, 41-year-old French journeyman Khalid Gradia. Ben, sticking to his usual style, threw a lot of jabs, following up with the rear hand. He was dishing out punishment to Khalid in every possible way, entertaining the crowd and making them gasp in amazement at each of his tricks. Pinning Khalid's resistance with his lead hand, Ben began adding more shots, and bam! A hidden left body shot turned the poor guy's liver into foie gras. Gradia was given a count and Whittaker caught his rhythm, turning the fight into a real show, while the referee occasionally lost his patience. Despite the brutality of Whittaker's attacks, Khalid managed to survive until the halfway point of the 8-round fight. Though it seemed like he was barely hanging on, he looked like a clumsy circus bear, being toyed with, then followed up with a taunting move, forcing Khalid to retreat. This was followed by a series of crisscrossing combinations aimed at the barely standing Frenchman. Gradia couldn't take it anymore, sliding down the ropes, and the referee in the ring finally put an end to his misery. On March 31st, 2024, at London's famous O2 Arena, Whittaker meet Leon Willing. Ben started the bout by fencing with jabs, repeatedly landing his lead hand on his opponent's body. He managed to trap Leon Willings in the corner and unleashed a series of heavy punches that left his opponent visibly shaken. Moments later, Ben pinned Leon against the ropes again, and after a flurry of punches, Willings took a knee, with the referee counting the first knockdown. In the second and third rounds, Willings realized he was in trouble and focused on defense. He moved well to avoid Ben's pressure, but every time he touched the ropes, Ben pummeled him with powerful combinations. By the 8th round, Ben was still comfortably in control, though some fans expected a more explosive finish. His conditioning lagged slightly, but it was enough to confidently win via decision. On June 15th, Ben faced undefeated Nigerian puncher Ezra Onyeka, who had won 10 of his 12 fights by knockout, although his record had been padded with weak opponents. This marked Ben's first 10-round fight and his first shot at a professional title. Ezra tried to surprise Ben with sudden attacks, but Ben cooled his aggression with sharp counterpunches.
Bro, them Adidas socks are so high, dog.
In the second
Them
round,
mugs pulled
Ben
up there into his
showcased
kneecap.
excellent counterpunching, with Ezra taking several hard shots as he tried to close the distance. By the fight's halfway point, the Nigerian seemed to be merely surviving, absorbing damage. After the bell, Ben mockingly invited Ezra to another corner, taunting him, only to receive a headbutt to the chin in response. In the 8th and 9th rounds, a tired Onyeka was completely outclassed. In the final moments, Ben delivered a liver shot and a combination of punches that left Onyeka dazed and retreating. Ben controlled the fight from start to finish, never shifting into full gear, but securing a comfortable victory for the Briton. As you may have noticed, Ben is very fast, but it feels like his showboating hides a lack of ability to finish his opponents. He has all the physical attributes, for it, but tactically it seems like he doesn't fully understand how to use them. The next fight will be proof of this, and it may either mark the end of his career
The hate
or
is
change
real,
him
bro.
as a boxer.
But this is not the end of Ben Whittaker's career, dog. I feel like he just had an off night, bro. That's all I think it was, cause that was not the surgeon, bro. That was regular Ben Whittaker.
On October
That
12,
was not the
2024, on the undercard of the Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev fight, Ben defended his IBF International Light Heavyweight title against Liam Cameron. Despite Cameron's 23-6 record, he was a tougher opponent than Ben's previous challengers, having fought for several minor titles, though only winning one. This was a logical step up in competition for Ben Whittaker, which he was expected to handle without any issues. As soon as the bell rings to start the fight, Liam Cameron immediately moves forward and attacks with a jab, but Whittaker quickly takes control of the center of the ring. Whittaker measures the distance with his lead hand, but his opponent doesn't let him settle, knocking his hand down and following up with a couple more jabs. In response, Whittaker starts to attack with long jabs and once again pressures Liam towards the ropes. Whittaker uses one of his signature setups, a quick light jab to provoke his opponent to counter. Then he pulls back and lands a powerful jab of his own. Feeling comfortable, Ben throws one of his signature body shots, a left hook to the body without any setup. His opponent tries to counter with a jab, but misses, forcing Whittaker to move backward. Notice that Ben moves his head back first, followed by his feet. This will affect him in later rounds. Cameron attempts to close the distance with a sloppy left hook, but Whittaker pivots away, putting his opponent with his back to the ropes. Both land jabs in the exchange that follows. Whittaker demonstrates one of his signature visual moves, throwing many straight punches at the block, followed by a hook to the body. These punches don't do any real damage, but it creates the illusion that he is attacking aggressively. Even great boxers like Sugar Ray Leonard used to play to the crowd to score points. A wild overhand from Cameron forces Ben to simply evade, and right after that, Cameron throws another overhand with the rear hand, which Ben again tries to slip, but gets caught. Cameron moves in close and lands a left hook, because Whittaker once again tries to pull back instead of blocking. Cameron rushes in with an overhand, but Ben sees it coming and pivots out of the way, just like earlier in the round. Whittaker measures the distance with his lead hand, then dips as if to go to the body. Cameron quickly catches on to the feint, knowing that Ben will soon throw an uppercut either to the body or the head. Cameron responds with a strong overhand, which Ben tries to dodge at the last moment. However, this time Whittaker
I do like how he is breaking down this fight, though. If I don't agree with nothing else up in this video, I do like how he is breaking down the video and going over everything, because it's like I tell everybody, bro. Everybody think boxing is just like MMA, like you just go up in there, brawl, slug it out, bro. That's not how it is. It's more of a mental thing. You gotta be right as far as skill, mentally, spiritually, physically. Everything has to align. And it's not only that, bro. It's human chess. It's science. You gotta have footwork, head movement, blocking, everything, bro. It's not MMA where you just go up in there and throw a bunch of punches, or if you can't strike, you can wrestle, do jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, all the other different type of stuff. It's strictly just these, bro. These, and you gotta think with this.
Bends his lead hand to block the punch, then counters with a 1-2 to the guard. Liam tries to jab back, but misses, forcing Whittaker's head to pull back. Whittaker shows off with flashy movements, dodging punches that aren't really there and responding with punches to the guard. While it looks good, it wastes his cardio. Before Cameron even begins his next attack, he quickly notices that Whittaker seems to be looking for a reason to pull back and slip. Seeing this, Liam throws a light overhand followed by an
why
uppercut.
he got this thing talking like it's rapping, bro? Bro, if you watch this, please fix this up in this
Cameron
video.
fakes an over.
Fix the audio and the speed of it, cause I know y'all heard how I said Usyk, and then It's over here talking like Eminem over a beat,
hand,
bro.
ready to catch Ben slipping and countering with a hook. But this time, it was just a feint, and Whittaker's hook hits nothing but air. At the end of the round, Liam throws a jab, which Ben ducks under to clinch. This leads to a final exchange, where Whittaker lands a jab to the head and body, while Liam responds with a body jab. Ben prepares to slip and counter, but ends up getting hit.
Ooh.
Round 2 starts with pressure from Liam Cameron, who shows no fear of Whittaker, using his jab to chase Ben all around the ring. Whittaker tries to respond, but his punches are just a lot of jabs to the guard. Liam fakes moving forward, and Whittaker falls for it. Liam does this 2 more times, and out of frustration, Ben punches the air. Cameron sees Whittaker shifting and throws a jab. Ben doesn't raise his guard, attempting to slip from an awkward position.
It is a time and a place to keep your hands down. Even I do it because it does help you move your head easier. Because me, I'm uncoordinated, bro. It's hard for me to move my head with my hands up in boxing. So it does help sometimes for you to like keep your hands down and just move your head with your feet. I don't know why, because it's like moving your head, hands, and your feet. It's a lot harder than just moving your head and feet. I'm uncoordinated like that.
He misses and ends up against the ropes, where Liam unloads a combination of punches. Whittaker nervously smiles in the clinch, trying to whisper something to his opponent, but receives an overhand punch in response. By the middle of the second round, Cameron has figured out Whittaker's timing. He blocks Ben's jab and quickly counters with a hook. The punch seems much faster now, as Liam knows the exact moment to throw it. Afterward, Ben once again hits Liam's guard with straight punches. But notice the effect of the punches. When Liam counters with his jab, Ben's head snaps back and he pivots away. So not only does he take damage, but he also exhausts himself with unnecessary movements. Liam throws a jab that Ben
I wouldn't exactly say that's not necessary. Hold on, let me see it again.
So not only does he take damage, but he also exhausts himself with unnecessary movements. Liam throws a jab that Ben managed to dodge with his upper body, and damage
Let me
the
rewind that one more
effect
time.
of the punches. When Liam counters with his jab, Ben's head snaps back and he pivots away. So not only does he take damage,
I want to say that's pivoting in that situation. I want to say it's not necessary because, okay, like if he was going straight back, like let's say if Ben did get hit with that jab and he just went straight back, his opponent's gonna start attacking. So with Ben pivoting, his opponent has to reset. So I wouldn't exactly say that's not, like, I'm going to say Ben pivoting would be unnecessary.
the effect of the punches. When Liam
Because,
counters,
look, if Ben was to go straight back right here, if he was to go straight back, I'd put money on it this dude starts attacking. With Ben pivoting, yes, it is a risk of him getting caught with this, with his opponent's right hand. I get that. It is, what's the word I'm trying to think of, y'all? It's early in the morning. It is that thing, like he possibly could get caught with that right hand, but with him pivoting, his opponent's going to have to pivot also or turn and reset. A lot of people don't think about that either up in boxing. Footwork is important. That's probably the most important thing in boxing.
with his jab,
That and
Ben's
head
head
movement.
snaps back and
Footwork
he
and
pivots
head movement
away.
is the
So
most
not
important
only
thing.
does he take damage, but he also exhausts.
Y'all see, look, he had to reset, dog. His opponent had to reset. He couldn't come off with that that right hook or whatever. Even if it was a straight, he couldn't throw it, bro, because he has to reset.
himself with unnecessary movements. Liam throws a jab that Ben managed to dodge with his upper body and predictably tries to duck under it. But Cameron has seen this too many times by now and catches him with an uppercut. By now, even a blind person could see that Ben Whittaker is preparing to pull back and counter with a straight punch. Liam notices this, of course, and lands a light jab to Ben's body, which makes Whittaker lose his composure. He pulls back quickly, punches at the air with a straight, and then gets smacked on the back of the head in return. Ben ducks to convince his opponent he's about to go for a body shot, then pops up with a hook, which Liam anticipates and blocks. Liam counters with a 1-2, landing both punches cleanly, despite Whittaker's attempts to dodge. Liam throws a sloppy 1-2 combination, and instead of capitalizing on it, Whittaker starts dancing, then moves back toward the ropes. In the third round, Cameron grew more brazen, doubling his jab, which Whittaker dodges as if he had a brain swelling. This leaves him wide open for an overhand that lands square on his head. Liam rushes in with 2 hooks.
I mean, Ben Whittaker did try to block it, bro. I mean, he just miscalculated the block, bro. His hand was right here. He just, them small 8-ounce gloves, bro. It's like, I mean, it's only so much you can do up in 8-ounce gloves.
And once again, Ben tries to slip away by pulling back. This highlights one of Whittaker's main issues. Instead of using his legs first and then his upper body, he constantly relies on his head and torso for evasion. This often puts him in situations where his head is near the ropes, while his feet are still in the middle of the ring. It's a beginner-level technical error that...
Yeah, even I get caught doing that, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's hard to move because your feet has to come first up in boxing, but dog, it is a struggle, like moving everything at once. But
Whittaker makes in every fight. By now, it's clear that all the unnecessary jerking around has tired Ben out, and he starts backpedaling around the ring. His opponent feints a body shot, but follows up with an overhand to the head and then an uppercut. This combination rattles Ben. In response, he throws a combination at the guard, followed by a clinch, where Whittaker gets positioned into a compromising spot. How would you describe this position? Let me know in the comments. By the 4th round, Whittaker had lost so much credibility that...
but you have nothing to say about that, though. You can't do that, bro. Like, but he had nothing to say about that.
His opponent started showing off right in front of him, even taunting him with his tongue. Immediately after, Liam brazenly landed a straight, an overhand, and a body hook. Just when Ben thought the assault was over, Liam added another overhand for good measure. With each passing minute, Liam showed Whittaker less and less respect. A single overhand shook Ben's head violently. By the end of the round, multiple punch combinations were landing cleanly on Whittaker. Ben tried to smile and respond, but at this point his movements were glitching. In the 5th round, it became obvious right from the start that Ben no longer believed he could win. In frustration, he threw an entire combination of low blows. 2 jabs pushed Whittaker against the ropes, followed by a powerful overhand. Ben hit a new low, pretending that his mouthguard had fallen out after a jab. In reality, he was exhausted and trying to buy some time while his mouth...
I mean, it's smart though, dog. Like, y'all can't lie and say Ben Whittaker ain't going like nowhere in his boxing career. So I do understand that. Like, you on a big stage right now, bro. You're not trying to look stupid.
Mouthguard was being picked up and...
I ain't gonna say look stupid, but like just go out bad, like getting knocked out or something. So spitting out the mouth guard is like always been a thing up in boxing. It's always gonna be around.
Cleaned. After a brief rest, Whittaker was ready to continue getting punched in the head. Ben ducked under an overhand, but that didn't save him from the barrage of body shots that followed. With each round, the beating grew more brutal, considering how much Whittaker loves hitting below the belt and pulling dirty tricks with his mouthguard. It's no surprise that by the end of the 5th round, we saw a bizarre clinch where both fighters fell out of the ring. But Liam Cameron quickly got back up, ready to keep fighting, while Ben Whittaker, after consulting with his corner, claimed to have a serious leg injury. You'd think after a fighter says he can't continue, Liam would be awarded a TKO victory. At the very least, because of the strange clinch, it should have been ruled a no contest. But let's not forget that promoters have big plans for Ben Whittaker. So, for the first...
Told y'all.
time in boxing history. Despite the fight going into the 5th round, the organizers decided to count only the first 4 rounds and announce a draw based on the judge's decision. It's easy to explain. They had to salvage Ben Whittaker's career somehow. They clearly wanted to avoid a technical knockout loss and ignored the 5th round because Ben lost it so badly that no one would believe any other result. So they decided to score just the first 4 rounds, where the only round that could arguably be given to Whittaker was the first. Since the number of rounds was even, they conveniently declared a draw. In this way, the organizers, judges, and referee did everything they could to save Ben Whittaker, boxing's supposed future star. However, the place where he truly needs saving isn't in the ring, but in the gym. He needs to learn that just being fast isn't enough. Even at the mid-tier level of boxing, attacks need to be planned and set up, not just random punches to the head or body.
Oh man, dude, this guy's just talking, dog. He's just talking. And I bet y'all he's one of them. Ain't never really sparred like that. Barely no training.
Most importantly, someone needs to remind Whittaker that he has
the mitts,
legs, which
but
should
too
be
slow.
used when getting hit. Sure, shoulder rolls look nice, but there's a time and place for everything. It's strange to see how a guy who once said he wasn't satisfied with his Olympic silver medal, feeling like he lost gold rather than won silver, is now happy to accept the most bizarre draw in boxing history. This disaster of a fight was a blessing in disguise. Ben Whittaker and his team need to admit to themselves that he lost without any chance. That shows that Whittaker isn't even at the level of a mid-tier professional boxer yet. He needs to lock himself in the gym for the next year.
This dude's just talking, bro. I'm gonna see y'all up in the next video. I love you guys. Peace.